All right, what might be behind all this activity against Donald Trump? Whether they're trying to prosecute him, hoping that he will not win the 2024 presidential election, that they'll get enough conviction, or get enough, you might say, dirt on him, that it make people vote against him, or maybe even, hopefully, make it illegal for him to run. Well, what might be behind it all? Simply this. If you look throughout history, there have been elections that are said to have been stolen. Perhaps the worst case was the 1876 election of Rutherford B. Hayes versus Samuel J. Tilden. Officially, the election went to Rutherford B. Hayes, but to this day, we don't really know who won that election. The Democrats charge the election had been stolen. Well, maybe it was. Whatever the case, the election was contested. Now, moving on to the 1960 presidential election, a lot of persons have said that Richard Milhous Nixon actually won over John Fitzgerald Kennedy in 1960, but that the Kennedys stole the election and gave it to John Kennedy, and therefore it was stolen from Richard Nixon. Well, Richard Nixon played along with the game and did not contest it. Now, it is known that Lyndon Baines Johnson stole an election for Senate, but this was after an election had been stolen from him. And there have been many elections, all the way from local level all the way to the presidential election, that have been said to be stolen. Well, here might be what's behind this one. Donald Trump claims that the 2020 election was stolen from him. They are going to make it so that nobody in the future will ever dare contest any kind of an election. Essentially, what they're trying to do is see to it that Donald Trump pays the penalty for contesting an election that he actually might have won. I mean, there were a lot of irregularities, and the irregularities are blamed on the COVID situation, that was going on right then, but nevertheless there were a lot of irregularities committed, and there might be, it might be that Donald Trump actually won. But they are going to make sure that in the future no one dares contest an election, which means that they can steal an election, as many elections as they want, and no one will dare contest it. That is what I believe is behind all this fiasco that's going on right now against Donald Trump.